Some of the things that we have in our policy for English language learners pertain to province-wide or certain other kinds of standardized tests that all students in Ontario have to take. And we have some special exemptions and deferrals for English language learners, which I think are very humane and really, reflect the fact that when a child just arrives, you cannot expect them to be able to pass a particular test on the same footing, especially if they're in high school, with kids who have been going to school since grade 1 in an English-speaking environment. So we have a credentialing test in grade 10. It's called the Ontario Secondary School Literacy Test, and this is something that you need to graduate. And it measures students' literacy achievement up to the end of grade 9, which the government has decided is a minimum amount of literacy skill that a high school student should have in order to be able to get a high school diploma. And it covers reading and writing in different genres, fiction, nonfiction, newspaper reports, narrative, all kinds of different reading and writing skills and genre. The students take it usually the last week in March, but students who are English language learners can be deferred from taking this test. And they can be deferred simply by, the principal's discretion saying this student has not yet achieved a level of proficiency in English necessary to pass the test. And usually kids who are at the first 4 courses of ESL in high school haven't yet achieved that level. So they have a deferral. They can take the test again in the following year, and if they get another deferral, they don't have to take the test anymore. What they can do instead is take a course. And the course is a regular credit high school course. It's made up of 110 hours of study, and it covers in depth all of the reading and writing genre and the literacy skills that the test tests the students on. So to me, as an English language educator, I think this is a much better way for English language learners to really learn and assimilate the skills needed for success, to have an opportunity to take a course like that where they're learning about, direct and indirect speech, and how do you skim and scan, and how do you read a newspaper report to get information out of it, and what are the things that you have to include when you're writing a report, so they can take that test instead. And it's happened to me in the past that I spoke about this at a TESOL conference. I was on a panel of people who were speaking about various developments in secondary school education for English language learners, and I was the only Canadian on the panel. And when I spoke about this course, there were like about 400 people in the room, and they all burst into like spontaneous applause. They weren't applauding for me, they were applauding what we were doing. And apparently, this was just such a radical concept that we would give students a more humane, less, standardized test-oriented way to show that they've learned the necessary skills.